What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the poker vlog. This is going to be episode number 33, back at the South Point for some 3-5 no limit. We grabbed the max 1500. Let's get started. We start off at a must-move short-handed game, and first we pick up pocket nines from under the gun. I open for 15. Middle position player with $300 calls, and big blind defends. We go three ways to a flop, ace, jack, 4, rainbow. First opponent checks. I decide to check, although a small c-bet is probably fine here sometimes. Last opponent checks. Turn is a beautiful 9, upgrading our hand in a big way with a set, but also puts some straight and flush draws out there. Action checks to me, and I bet 25, hoping one of my opponents checked an ace on that flop. Next player calls, and big blind folds. Heads up to a blank 6 of clubs on the river. All the draws miss, so I could check and let him take a swing at it, but for some reason I feel like he may have checked an ace or a jack back on that flop, so I decided to bet to target those pairs. I bet 60, and he goes into the tank. Some time goes by, and we were just hoping for the call, but something better happens. He grabs raising chips and slides out 2 stacks, making it 200. So, only 2 hands beat us, pocket aces, pocket jacks. If he took the line with either of those hands, he deserves a full double up, so I'll go ahead and raise all in. He's committed and makes the call. I show the set, and he shows ace 6 of diamonds for a river 2 pair. Prime example of how being the aggressor got me a free turn card. Although I think a small c-bet on the flop is probably more optimal, because if he bets his ace on the flop, I just fold. But say I lead for 15 bucks, the ace 6 is never raising, so I get a very cheap turn card to improve. So nice start. Our game breaks shortly after this hand, and we get moved to one of the main games. And first we pick up 7-9 suited in the big blind. Cutoff raises to 15. Small blind calls. I call. We go 3 ways to a flop. Jack 9-7 with 2 clubs. We have bottom 2 pair on a wet board. Small blind checks. I check, and the pre-flop raiser bets 40. Next player folds, and a raise is definitely in order. We block sets of 9s and 7s. If he has jack-jack, we're going to find out fast. So I go ahead and make it 150, just as I would with all my strong hands. Fine with taking it down right here with a vulnerable bottom 2 pair. And after some thought, he makes the laydown. Next, I'm on the button straddle for $10, and we have 9-10 offsuit. Under the gun player limps, and action folds around to the cutoff, who raises to 20. I defend the straddle for the min raise. The under the gun limper calls, and we go 3 ways to a flop, 8-5-3 rainbow. First player checks. Original raiser bets 20. Folding sounds reasonable but boring. Calling is not an option, so let's use our position and the fact that this board looks much better for a straddler than an under the gun limp and a raise pre-flop, so I make it 60. Of course, sometimes we're going to run into sets and overpairs, but we have a lot of cards that can improve our equity on the turn. 6, 7, 9, 10, jack, queen. He actually thinks for quite a bit and ends up making the laydown. It is important to note that some of these plays can really only be made because we are very deep stacked, so just remember that most of us have 1,000 to 2,000 in our stack in the 2-5 game. I wouldn't be making these type of plays if, say, each opponent only had about 500 in front of them, so just important to note that. Next, we pick up pocket 10s in middle position. Action folds to me, and I raise to 15. We get a few callers in this one, 5 to be exact. So we got 6-way action, and nothing feels better than when you hit that set in the door card, right? Flop comes 10-9-4 with 2 diamonds, just an absolute dream. Expecting some action here on this one. That's a pretty wet board. You know, a lot of 7-8s, jack queens, diamond draws. So action checks to me. I bet $35. Next player calls, and surprisingly, the rest fold. So we go heads up, and we fill up right on the turn with another 4. I know my opponent is capable of making some moves, so I think I can either check or keep the price good for him to continue. So I decide to make what looks like a blocker bet of $50 to maybe induce a raise or incentivize him to go after a draw, but unfortunately, he makes a laydown. Next, we pick up ace-king suited in the small blind. Action folds around to the cutoff, who raises to $20. Button folds, and I'd like to wager more with such a pretty hand. I take it up to $80. Big blind folds, and my opponent makes the call. We go heads up to a nice flop, ace 6-5 rainbow. I down bet to 60, hoping to be up against a worse ace. Maybe even, pocket jacks, pocket 10s will peel another card we can get some more value from, but he quickly open folds pocket 9s. Nice laydown. About an hour of garbage hands go by before ace-king slides our way again in the big blind. Under the gun, $10 straddle is on. Action folds to the button who limps. Just as I'm about to put some raising chips in, the straddler says,
Don't go crazy, man. Come on, man.
Raise.
so I decided to go crazy and raise it to $60, and action's on him. He's thinking for a bit and decides to put in the 3-bet to $200. He started the hand with about $1,300. Quick summary of our opponent here. He's a capable player, likes action, and he got here after me, and from what I've seen, he's stuck about 800, so I know he's going to want to get in there and play some pots. He might have the same hand, possibly tens, jacks, queens. So what I want to do is apply max pressure, represent aces and kings, and go ahead and put in the 4-bet to $650, thinking he's either going to fold or jam, but surprisingly, he calls $450 more, so now he's got half of his chips in the middle, so looks like we're going with this one no matter what. The weird thing is I got the sense that he didn't even want to put the money in pre-flop, but kind of got a little stubborn after he put 200 in. I know this opponent jams, queens are better, so I feel like he's not that strong. So heads up to a flop, queen, jack, 8, rainbow. Not a great flop against a 4-bet calling range, but we got 2 overs and a gut shot. We're going with it. Pot's already 1,300, so I make a down bet of $400. And he takes some time, goes into the tank for a little bit again. Maybe he has like 9s or 10s, but eventually just says, well, I'm all in. And he didn't seem like he was happy about putting it all in either. And I understand why, because he has ace queen. Wow, unbelievable. So he's got top pair. We need a 10 or a king, and we get it. King on the turn, 5 on the river, so he gets the suck out on the flop. We get the suck out on the turn. Finally get a near 3K pot. On the right side of a 3K pot here anyway. Little surprised though, my man put in 200, then just didn't want to let it go for the 650. Thought he would either jam or fold, but he was just like, ace queen suited, I'm not letting it go. So we won a massive one there. Cruising along up about 1,500 before we pick up king 9 suited in middle position. Game's a little bit shorter now. I raised to 15 and get 3 callers on this one. We go 4 ways to a flop. 7-6 deuce with 2 clubs, so we got 2 overs, second nut flush draw. Action checks to me and I bet 25. Next player calls the 25 and action folds around to the big blind, who quickly rips it all in for about $275. Normally I'd just fold this hand against certain opponents, but this kid has done this several times. He's been playing some short stack all in poker, showing top pair usually when he does, so pretty certain I'm up against just a 1-pair hand, thinking we can hit a king 9 or a club. Got some money in the pot, so I go ahead and make the call on this one, and the board runs out blank blank. We don't improve, and we were pretty live as he shows the 7-8 offsuit, so we couldn't hit the king 9 or club there for another big pot. And we actually play for about 2 more hours after this, but nothing eventful happens, and we go ahead and book a win of $1,070, in for $1,500, out for $2,570. We'll catch you guys at the end of the video.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for episode number 33. Hope you enjoyed all the hands. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe if you want to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. As always, here are the stats after each vlog, the updated No Limit Hold'em cash game stats. All that money's gone, by the way, in tournaments. We did no good in tournaments this summer, but there's always going to be more. So just a recap of the main event for anyone who cares. Started off great. I built it up to like 90K from 60K, just chipping up nice and slow, just kind of like a cash game. And then I think we went to dinner break with like 83. Come back to what, 3 and 500 blinds. We get kings cracked twice in one orbit, queens cracked. I think those 3 hands cost me about 15. And just a couple 3-bet hands, C-bets, miss, another 15, 20K. Next thing you know, we got about 30 left. And we get it all in with the second nut straight against the pair, open-ended in a flush draw, which is really just a flush draw. And he makes the flush, and that's it. Main event, done. So, what a good tournament though, God. You just gotta avoid disaster really in that tournament. You have so much time. So I'll be looking forward to playing that next year and a lot more tournaments. So, as always, appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next video. Best of luck at the tables. See ya.